You turn in today to your time for your hurricane and severe weather update. Hello, thanks for joining me. Here we start. We're starting right now. You can see we have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms over parts of pretty much the eastern part of the United States today. There's two areas we're watching very closely right now for any organized severe weather. The two areas we're watching right now are parts of southern Tennessee, northeastern Mississippi, and northern parts of Alabama right now, where there is a complex of storms beginning to develop right now. There also is an area of thunderstorms which is now spawning severe thunderstorm watch in parts of the upper Great Lakes around the Detroit, Michigan area and northwest of Cleveland, Ohio. These storms are spreading off to the east and will likely spawn some more storms in parts of Ohio, Pennsylvania, and parts of upstate New York. The second area we're watching is in parts of the Tennessee Valley area today, parts of Alabama and Mississippi, where a bona fide round of thunderstorms may develop later on this afternoon with mainly a wind-damaged threat. More of a wind and hail threat in parts of the Great Lakes, but mainly a damaging wind threat in areas around the southeast. This will spread off to the east, so expect storms to develop in parts of Georgia, the Carolinas, Tennessee, up into Virginia, and parts of the interior northeast as we head into the afternoon, even though more of a just a spotty thunderstorm risk looks most likely right now over parts of the interior northeast. The area in green is obviously a general thunderstorm risk, where we're just watching just for general pop-up thunderstorms, which will collapse as they usually the downdraft will come out really quick, and that will cause these storms to diminish really quickly. But I'm going to watch the slight risk area today just in case we get any dangerous thunderstorms later on today. Here's the National Hurricane Center map right now. Very quiet right now. No tropical cyclones expected during the next 48 to 72 hours. That could be a different story in about 4 to 7 days. Here's a look right now at the hurricane map, at the shear model, There's a ton of wind shear right now over parts of the Leeward Islands, the Greater Antilles, all the way up, stretching east into the Cape Verde Islands. There's a ton of wind shear right now, but there actually is a lack of shear in actually parts of around Bermuda and parts of the Azores. That's going to be a little trend we're going to watch as the shear will slowly begin to decrease over parts of this area. Around 40 knots are expected to be, so they're not going to significantly diminish, but they're going to diminish enough that we may see something develop in the Leeward Islands and then spread west into the Caribbean, begin to take that northwest turn, probably just missing Central America, may produce then some showers, may cross around the Yucatan Peninsula, and then after that, where that goes, after that, it's anyone's guess right now, but supports right now, likely is probably going to head into the Bay of Campeche in about a couple of days, so that's going to be something we're going to have to watch. Here's a look right now at the water vapor imagery right now. You can see there obviously is a lot of shear. You can see the clouds blowing off southwest northeast. There's a good amount of shear right now. There's barely any thunderstorms right now over parts of the Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, or the southeast coast. Even the eastern Pacific is pretty quiet right now. You can see right now there actually is some moisture feeding into the system that's moving into the Antilles right now. That's the system we're watching right now. But ahead of it, there is still some pockets of dry air. What we need is for moisture to be ahead of this system to provide a little bit more favorable conditions. That likely will occur as we head into the next few days, and that will actually supply environmental conditions to become more favorable for this system to likely develop into something over the next few days. Once again, it's probably going to head farther off to the west and indicate that turn to northwest. Unfortunately, it appears right now we're going to have possibly some ridging in effect that may prohibit this system from moving farther off to the north and possibly to the Gulf Coast. So right now, it appears Texas and areas to the south are in the best risk for us getting some moisture from this system. Unfortunately, it's not going to affect the drought areas, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas that actually use the rain really badly. Unfortunately, it's probably going to go into Mexico. But that's going to be something we want to watch just in case it potentially brings some flash flooding and mudslides to the Texas region. Here's the GFS on it. You may not be able to see it, but it's right there and farther off to your screen right there. There's a little bit of area, low pressure, pinpointing the little turning of the winds right there. So it obviously is a bona fide area of low pressure around that area. Moving around the Texas region, this is probably, like I said, it's going to head right into Mexico. Looks like it's probably going to be too farther to the south to bring any moisture to the Gulf Coast, a.k.a. Florida, the Carolinas, which has could use some rainfall. We're going to keep our fingers crossed that Florida gets some rain. Looks like the water vapor, maybe trying to see maybe some scattered showers over parts of Florida. That's a trend we're going to watch. But you see where the bona fide, more significant moisture will likely remain around the Yucatan and parts of Mexico and the Bay of Campeche and Belize. The potential is the storm may slow down, so we actually may get some heavy rainfall over parts of the Yucatan Peninsula in southwest Mexico. We're talking about several inches of rainfall as possible. So we could be getting some heavy rainfall across this area along with the potential for tropical development. So the storm could also produce some very heavy rainfall, landslides, and mudslides. What you're looking at right now, here's a satellite imagery of the remnants of tropical storm and earlier Hurricane Beatriz in the eastern Pacific, still producing some very heavy rainfall over parts of Mexico. Some areas have already gotten over 3 to 5 inches of rainfall, and the totals will continue to increase as the storm slowly sits there and produces some very heavy rainfall over this area. One more look I want to show you. There's GFS showing the system right there over parts of the Bay of Campeche. If you can't see, I'll just circle it for you. There it is right there. The area of low pressure is turning off to the northwest. Appears right now more likely. I'm actually going to show you what likely is probably going to happen with this storm. I'm just going to go back. Here we are. All right, it's probably going to develop right here and begin to transition off to the northwest. Once again, looks like the steering currents are going to turn this, continue to turn it off to the west, and it's going to be turning off to the northwest in a few days after that. And then it appears it's going to cross the Yucatan Peninsula. And then after that, it becomes anyone's guess what's going to happen. Many things could happen. Could there be ridging in effect? We're going to watch to see if an area of high pressure may develop. If an area of high pressure develops, this will turn the system off to the northwest. If there is no ridging, then this could turn the system up farther north, and that would be a better case scenario for some rainfall in Florida and the drought-stricken areas. But if there is ridging, we'll see how strong the upper ridging is if it develops. If there's strong upper ridging, this could prohibit it from actually entering Texas, but there is weak ridging. This could actually be a good thing for supplying some moisture into Texas, but that's likely not going to happen. Likely what's going to happen is this system is just going to follow the classic track of going right into Mexico and may bring some rainfall into maybe Brownsville, Galveston, maybe even Houston, Texas may get some rainfall. So system we're going to watch. Right now there's potential for it to develop. Something to watch. We'll continue to keep you updated on the hurricane and talk pace. Thank you for joining me for your update.